Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to a high-level best of 5 of StarCraft 2. Today we have in the top left spawning as our blue Terran player playing for the Shopify Rebellion. It's of course the one and only ByuN. And in the bottom right is our red protoss player playing for Team NV. It is Nightmare. Young King and Nightmare over here. A little bit of a Reaper wall. Going for a quick scout as well, past Gateway. Scouting for potential proxies in his natural. It's something that ByuN has done in the past. Hope he also goes for a scout. Yes, there we go. An entire scout just around the left side of the map. Is of course at the Reaper wall on the right side. So it's not as big of an issue if the barracks is over here. But if it's close by, I mean, it's always going to suck. If the barracks is over here, it's also going to suck. But this is a fairly unlikely position usually. And he's not going to find anything. But, you know, looking for proxies is a little bit like being a gold miner, like one of these guys. I think it's called gold panning. You have one of these gold pans, you go into the river, you know, and you look for little golden nuggets. That's basically what it's like, you know. Many days you wake up, you go out with your pan into the river, and all you get is wet feet, all right? But every now and again, when you're looking for gold, with your little pan, you get a golden nugget, all right? And you're set for the rest of the month. And it's the same with looking for proxies. You know, many times you're scouting after your gateway, you're losing these 5 minerals because you're scouting early. You don't find anything. But every now and again you find that barracks, and that barracks only has 200 HP. And that SCV isn't guarded by the natural environment. You know, there's no wall on the bottom side. It's just right in the middle there. And your probe can cancel that barracks and you just get a free win. So, and that just makes your entire day. It makes your month. And you kind of, confirm to yourself, okay, scouting for proxies, definitely worth it. As this probe might actually get caught here by this Reaper. This Reaper is very quick. Let's see if it's gonna find that probe. What you doing here, Mr. ByuN? Yeah, he's gonna find it indeed. I think that probe is toast, to be honest. Yep, that's -1 probe, as ByuN is going to dive a little bit deeper. Third pylon on the way already? Wait, what the heck is this? Why do we have such a fast third pylon? Huh? Oh, he wanted to hide a Stargate, and he wanted to hide it real bad. Now, how did that work out? He's lost 2 workers. He's gonna perhaps even lose a third one. He's getting his Stargate as scouted as it's gonna get. Oh my god, this Reaper is just owning over here. It's gonna end up dying right now. ByuN tried to go for the final jump in on those probes. Stargate's gonna get cancelled. Okay, this is the ultimate fake. Now, this tech is going to be extremely delayed, though. It's possible that ByuN scouted this and says to himself, hey, I want to open up with maybe a Viking here, go for some type of push. It's also possible he just goes for the medevac. This is a build that I've actually seen him do. Is this this type of... Oh, mine's going to connect with one of these adepts. Mine is going to die, though. This is a trade I'm always willing to make if I'm a Protoss player, by the way. I really am always willing to make that. I have no problems with this whatsoever. Like, I look at that and I think to myself, yeah, that's pretty freaking great. Because these adepts, they become so bad later on in the game. Like, they're kind of useless, and these mines are always good. So if I can trade one adept for a mine, that means I'm keeping some probes alive. That means I don't have to pull workers away in the future. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. This blink is going to be fairly delayed. It's going to be a multi-cyclone attack with a Liberator follow-up as well. We have a second barracks on the way. This was a double gas opener coming out of ByuN, by the way. So it's going to hit like a truck. It's going to hit at the front, not in the main base. Let's see if we can get anything done here. It's going to try and just focus on workers. Okay, now latches onto one of these adepts. Could pick up there on that Marine. The Cyclone takes out the first adept. Let's see, what else are we going to get? A little bit of damage there on that Stalker, as Nightmare perhaps in trouble. More Marines are running across the map together with a second Cyclone as well. Stalker goes down here. The second adept is getting latched onto, and this pylon is going to fall before we get a warp in from either of these gateways. There is a Stalker in the main from that main base warp gate. This is a lot of units all of a sudden. I don't feel like this is what should have happened, but no battery, not enough gateway units. And this Immortal now being pushed out. I actually think that Nightmare just straight up loses the game here to ByuN's. This felt like more of a poke than anything. A Liberator probably wanted to be used here for harassment in the main, but it's gonna be game. GG gets called as ByuN takes the first map here in this best of 5. That was a fairly epic build there coming out of ByuN. He's actually been doing this build quite a lot. It's either double or even triple Cyclone into these quick little pushes. Open it up with a mine this time around. I really like these builds. It's they're not super committed. Like, they're fairly committed because you're getting a lot of factory units, but money-wise you're not too committed. The Cyclone isn't all that expensive. Liberator often gets some damage done, especially if it's like if there's already a distraction. I mean, the Lib comes in, you're at least forcing units, probes off the worker line, you know, of the mineral line. This time around, Nightmare with a straight up scout across the map rather than looking for any of these proxies. Doesn't believe in gold anymore. Hate to see it. He lost his faith after one game. Not very strong faith. Not a very strong faith at all. Double gas once again. ByuN has been just absolutely blasting these double gas builds lately, by the way. It's just consistently pushing out new double gas content. If you're a Terran player and you want to get some double gas builds, some nice all-ins, some nice attacks, like, ByuN's the guy to look at the moment. Like, he's cooking it up in the kitchen, all right. He's been spending some time with the stove. That's for sure. New combinations, old combinations. You know, he can do every style. I always wondered, you know how some cooks, they have like this absolute specialty in like one type of food. It's like you're the king of like the Italian cooking. And I always wonder, if I was a cook, and you know you're a professional cook is your entire life, wouldn't you want to explore a bit further? It seems so boring to just cook the same type of food again and again. You know, I feel like I'd rather be the jack of all trades when it comes to cooking than truly the master of one. Because it also feels like with cooking, is if you're a good cook, the final bits of improvement, they don't actually matter that much. Or at least to me they don't. Maybe there are some absolute taste snobs over here that really care about this type of stuff. It's like, if it tastes very good, then I'd rather have high diversity rather than, you know, I'd rather have 10 different 9s than 1 10, basically, when it comes to food. If that makes any sense. Because I feel like even if some food is really tasty, it gets a little bit more boring the more you eat it, right? Especially if you eat it at a very high frequency. How did I get to this? I think it has something to do with 2 gas builds. ByuN has a lot of them. That's what I was going to say. He knows a lot of 2 gas builds. That's really cool to see. He's going to go for a double mine drop. Double mine drop with, I guess, a tank follow-up. Is this the build where he adds a fast, relatively quick second barracks? No, it's going to be a psych. Why did we build a tech lab? Tech lab into psych. Okay. He's going to move these marines across the map. Doesn't seem to be the case. So we're going to get a double mine drop. What are these phoenixes doing? Are they just standing at home? Yes. They're defending. They're waiting. They're waiting for just for anything, really. ByuN has no clue as to what is kicking off. No, he does. Wait, how did he figure this out? Oh, he just sacrificed his Reaper, I guess. So he sees the Phoenix. He's not going to be pushing out now. He's going to get a Liberator. Wanted to try starting a second Cyclone, but decided against it. Now starts it. So it's basically the exact same build as last game, except it's with double mines. If he gets 2 kills here, that would be hilariously sad. Oh no, it has been spotted there. Good movement out of Nightmare. He's not going to lose any of these adepts. Very nice. It's going to be double Cyclones, Liberator push out. We have 4 Phoenixes into Twilight Council, into 3 Gate. This is an extremely conservative build here, coming out of Nightmare. I'm not entirely sure what this build is good against. I guess it's going to be good against these type of pre-stim timings with a high marine count, so that you have your charge. This is not exactly, though, what ByuN is doing. Is Nightmare is looking for a Liberator. He's probably going to find it, as he split up the Phoenixes 2 by 2. There we go. He's going to figure out that there's a Liberator on the map. He's going to get a kill on it as well. Well, at the same time, ByuN continues moving in forward. There are 3 Adepts defensively against 13 Marines. 2 Mines and 2 Cyclones. That's not going to be enough. This will be cancelled. That battery, at least. Does that necessarily mean we'll get a cancel on the Nexus as well? I'm not entirely sure. We have 6 Adepts out right now. While Charge is being researched, this pylon is going to seriously supply block Nightmare. That means that this is the maximum amount of units he's going to get. I actually think ByuN should be waiting a little bit. I don't think this is quite the timing to move in. ByuN disagrees. Tries to move in forward. As these Adepts are going to shade out on the map. I wonder if this is just possible to fight here. We have 5 Phoenixes, 6 Adepts, there are 3 Cyclones, there's a bunch of Marines, this is a lot of Marines. That's what, 14 Marines here right now. Target fire is on the Adepts, not on the Phoenixes, as 2 Adepts do fall instantly, trading it out for a medevac. 1 more Adept, barely managed to stay alive. I think 3 Adepts fell total. Now we have the Charge follow up here. Stim has not started yet as the 3rd CC is finishing up here for ByuN. I think this situation is looking pretty freaking okay here for our Terran player once more. He has good eco, he has a faster base, he's going to get quicker upgrades. The only thing that he needs to worry about right now is not dying, because his Stim and combat are going to be extremely late. That is the only downside here of this build, is that his Stim and combat are actually insanely late. Holy cow. Losing those 7 SCVs is also quite painful. If that hadn't happened, he would have been in a phenomenal position. Now his position is okay. It's not great, but it's definitely playable, as he's already adding barracks 4 and 5. We have a bunch of charge lots moving across the map. And I think this is one of these situations where the setup probably is okay for ByuN, but he's losing so many workers. And I'm afraid that he's going to move to his 3rd base and just get blasted by charge lots here. If he moves towards his third base pre-stim, pre-combat shield, I mean, these zealots are going to move in. They're going to slaughter. Going to slaughter this group of Marines, no? Absolutely. Absolutely they are. Another SCV here is being taken out. Perhaps the second one, no. How many workers have gone down to these Phoenixes? 10 workers total. That's quite a few. It should have been 56 workers to 55 here. I mean, the anti-air felt like it was kind of there. Orbital command now flying over, and this is indeed the moment that Nightmare has been waiting for. Has 7 gateways ready. Stim is about to finish up though. 1-1 not quite there yet. Stim still 10-15 seconds. Is this where you want to go in? Nightmare isn't entirely sure. He sees the combat shield and is afraid, and that is very understandable. Just gonna straight up move in towards the main base with that prism, as we have 3 adepts shading in towards the natural. 5 zealots warping in into the main. At the same time, here comes the main attack. Ooh, this seems to have some serious potential. 5-6 more workers going down, 7 workers going down. Phoenix is at the same time clearing these marauders that are coming to reinforce the main base position. Ooh, zealots walking straight into a bunch of mines. ByuN though losing a crap ton of supply here. Needs to be seriously careful. 50 workers to 59. Do we have an armory on the way? No, we don't have an armory. That would have been huge, because 1-1 has finished now. You probably want to continue those upgrades. Nightmare, meanwhile, continuing his eco dominance by taking a relatively fast fort base. Phoenix is still looking for kills. Gonna probably find a couple here. Yes, 1 more SCV goes down. Second SCV. No, a little bit sloppy there. This turret is ill positioned to deal with potential Phoenix threats here, especially on the top side. A couple of SCVs definitely could be going down here. Oh my god, 1 more is gonna get picked up. There's so many worker kills, 20 worker kills in total. Look how good the eco for ByuN still is, by the way. It could have been so much better though. You legit could have just had like 10, 15, 20, 30 more supply, depending on how many SCVs he actually shoulda, woulda, coulda lost. Ooh, 1 Phoenix goes down. Second Phoenix might fall as... No, barely stays alive. I think 1 medevac did get blasted there. As we see the... some of those, what you call them, thrusters being thrown into the sky. There comes a Colossus Zealot attack right into this little choke. See how ByuN's gonna micro this. Marines moving back towards the 3rd base, but Colossus moving forward, trying to swipe as many Marines as they can. And this is an easy win here for Nightmare. Despite a poor start, gets a lot of counter damage, and as a result, picks up game number 2. Nightmare once again went for that early scout around with his proby. He's having a good time. I like it. I really do. I've also been loving the amount of Reaper walls we've been seeing as of late, by the way. I think that's so cool. I don't want to say that I'm a trendsetter, but I've been doing those Reaper walls for a little bit. been having a good time with them. You know, I actually have been enjoying playing Reaper walls. It just feels so much more comfortable to not have to deal with a Reaper in your main base. I think if I were to list my annoyances in StarCraft 2, you know, it would be Reapers, it would be Mutas, and then I think it would be Raven Harass. I think with the auto turrets, I freaking hate that for some reason. I think the reason why I hate the Ravens is because they feel like it shouldn't be a harassment unit for some reason, you know? And it flies in, there's idiotic 2 wings. Throws down an auto turret, I have to pull my work away. Yeah, freaking hate Reapers as well. I'm just glad we don't have too many Muta games anymore. God, I hate Muta so much. They're just flying around. Serious traumatic experiences back from Wings of Liberty, when Mutas were even worse. Still hated them so much, holy crap. Alright, Twilight Council on the way here is our first building. Seems like that's going to be the weapon of choice for Nightmare. Look at these Cyclone builds coming out of ByuN. He loves these. This is a different type of build though. This was a fast command center, look at that. Finished up like 2 minutes and 50 seconds in, single gas. Well, there's a second gas now, but that's significantly later. It's just now finished. Or, no, that's not true. Finished about a minute ago. Not entirely accurate there, Kevin. Happens to the best. 2K blink plus battery. I did not see what he was playing. Now, he saw the command center. I think the last thing, look at this. This is the last thing he saw. So he saw the fast command center. So he knew that this was not a 2-gas opener. Still said, hey, I just want to get a battery out here. I had bad experiences before with not building batteries. Actually, both games were relatively bad experiences for him. In the early game, at least. Robotic facility as well. Still here on the way. So either very safe or pretty freaking aggressive here coming out of Nightmare. I feel like it might just be the second one. But that gate is pretty freaking late too, so yeah, it's a weird third gate. It's a weird one. Not a fan of it whatsoever. See what this mine drop's gonna do. Sorry, what this 4 marine plus 1 cyclone drop is gonna do. If there was a med effect with 4 cyclones hitting at this timing, that would be relatively powerful. That would just straight up win every single game. This Stalker in trouble. Super battery's gonna get activated. This is a good hold. Blink finishing up in 4 seconds. That means that perhaps this medevac is in trouble, but at the same time, the probes in the main are also going to be in trouble. Big blink forward. Cyclone will get cleared as 3 workers might end up falling here. Yes, we're gonna get 3 worker kills. We're gonna get a 4th one as well. The medevac gets sniped. That's definitely worth it though. Losing 1 more worker to clear that medevac. Yes, sir. I like the way that looks for a Nightmare. So he's taken out a serious amount of units out of his opponent. There is a single tank out. We have the Raven being sent across the map. God, do I hate this unit. Freaking idiot. It doesn't feel like it deals a lot of damage either. That's, I think, the thing that pisses me off the most. You know, this guy throws down an auto turret, you lose like 2 workers. But you always lose 2 workers. It's not like a mine, where sometimes you lose 1 or 0, sometimes you lose 40. No, it just kills like 2 or 3 workers. This freaking satellite dish on his... I hate this guy. The thing is, he throws down 5 auto turrets, so he ends up getting 15 worker kills anyway, or 10 worker kills. But he's just... It's so frustrating. Here comes the first auto turret. It's gonna get 1... Yeah, 2 kills. Yeah, it always gets 2 kills. The Raven legit always gets 2 kills. It is crazy. Then he's gonna go in again. And he's going to get another 2 kills. And then he's going to go in again. He's going to get another 2 kills. And then that's the point where you realize you should have built batteries per mineral line a minute and a half ago. You decide to do it at that point. He flies to your 3rd base, gets another 2 kills, and then he dies. Because he gets F2'd back home by some brain-dead Terran. This is literally the story of the Raven's life. Absolutely the story of the Raven's life. Oh, that's actually some... well, suboptimal control there coming out of ByuN. Nice blink over as the auto turret is still gonna go down. It's gonna get 1 and it's gonna get just a single kill. So 3 kills total there for the Raven. Now, it feels like that might be good for Nightmare, but let's take a look at the worker count right now. It's 48 versus 48. This is one of those things where by itself it probably wasn't a great trade, but overall he has lowered his opponent's worker count quite a bit. And he's done it with basically pure harassment units, like a Cyclone, a Raven. Yes, he's lost the medevac and 4 Marines as well, but I feel like this is kind of okay. We have double Vikings coming out. He's trying his best to clear this potential 4 Stalker disaster. I wonder if he's actually going to be capable of doing that. At the same time, we have a couple of Stalkers in the natural as well. Nightmare still trying his best to get something done, but not entirely working out. Double Vikings here. Gonna get a kill on the Prism. Will there be units inside? No. Everything did get dropped in time, but still, that is a Prism gone. And it is 2 Vikings out on the map. I wonder if he's gonna use this in his main army. I mean, there are Colossus, so why not? Is ByuN aware of the fact that there's a Robo Bay, though? Yeah, he is. Okay, cool. So, well, he's gonna lose 1 Viking there for free. Tank Viking pushes are actually quite powerful, although I'm not sure if it's going to be a straight up push or if he's just going to be mining from his 3rd base for a little bit. Here comes another potential snipe on the Vikings. Not quite gonna get it though. Templar Archives halfway done. That's interesting. So it's going to be a charge Archon push here, coming out of Nightmare. Up to 9 gateways. Combat Shield now finishing up. We have a second eBay. Yeah, we saw second eBay and Armory being researched. I wonder what the plan here is for ByuN. I think his plan for now is actually just sitting back a little bit. Nightmare has very different plans. Is there even a Prism? No, but we have a pylon plus gateway here being built on the map. The middle of the map. Two Templar being warped in. This is not a quick warping quite yet. It's going to be hopefully a bit quicker later on. Once that gateway ends up finishing. You have an Adept over here just gathering some vision. As a fort base is going to be built behind all of this. Very similar type of attack to last game. Last game didn't have Archons. But the type of attack is very, very similar. We have a single Viking. 3 tanks though. Tanks are going to make this difficult. So the ghost count is currently at 0. So the Ghost Academy hasn't even finished yet. A couple of mines as well. I think ByuN is aware of what is happening. He saw that move in. Has a couple of depots that will help funnel these zealots. And thus make splash either from the mines or from these tanks. Just a tiny tad more effective. Adept shading in towards his opponent's natural. That's going to be the start here of this attack most likely. We have an attack coming in from the right side as well here. On the top side of the screen we can see it. It's a zealot flank. ByuN trying to target with these tanks, but he's going for the zealots. Seems like a bad call. Colossus are going to be pushing this back. And once again, a very similar W here for Nightmare. Just kind of walks over after what felt like an okay early game. Not great, just an okay early game. He's going to straight up kill his opponent. Nice control on those Colossus. ByuN not managing to get to them. Nightmare puts himself on match point in this best of 5. Next map is on Alcyone. Nightmare, he's a real pro scouter, isn't he? This guy's a go-getter when it comes to information. ByuN with a single gas opener. Gonna have to see how this is all going to work out. What the hell is this building place, by the way? Look at this. Maybe a tech lab or a reactor over here and a depot next to it. But what is this initial depot doing down, you know? Doing up here all the way to the left. Rather than being here in the standard position. That is quite interesting. I don't quite understand what it's for though. Don't understand what it's for. High ground CC, Marine. It's gonna get spotted here. CC's gonna get spotted. Nice. Ooh, Marine into reactor. This is exactly what you don't expect. I think this is going to be a triple CC opener then. Yep. He's pulling out a gas, so this could be 2 things. Either it's going to be a 3 Rex play, or it's going to be a triple CC. Now the reason why... Oh, okay, it's going to be a 3 Rex. Ooh, alright. Now, the reason why this high ground command center is so cool is because you usually only build a high ground command center if you believe you're going to have issues defending that high ground, or a low ground command center, right? Because it's just expensive to build on the high ground. ByuN wouldn't have had any issues defending this command center, because he's just gonna have 3 Marines by the time this Adept shows up. I think he should... It's really important that he hides Marine number 2 and 3. If he shows these, and Nightmare has a brain, he's gonna be capable of figuring out that this is a good old fake. Because ByuN here is faking a quick factory play. He really is. Is he trying to kill an Adept? that the entire plan? I don't like how he executed this. I like the general idea of pretending like you have a factory, when in reality you're playing 3 racks. But I don't like the execution of this at all. I think he should have definitely tried to hide these 2 extra marines, which is not at all what he did. Dark Shrine. So the theory books of StarCraft 2 tell me that this is, well, it's not necessarily a free win here for Nightmare, but it should be relatively good. This probe is gonna get spotted. Ooh, quick response there. ByuN looking for a probe and a pylon. Gonna need to send out another probe right now, which is of course very frustrating. He has no units whatsoever. And I don't think Nightmare's actually gonna get a scout. Okay, this should have been a pretty clean win for him. Usually DT builds are extremely good against 3 racks. Simply because you have fairly good gateway production. You can just full wall temporarily. And your opponent doesn't have enough units at home to deal with your DT. So you have a second battery on the way. I feel like Nightmare really kind of figured out what he's playing against, despite not getting any serious information. That's good. That's actually very good here for him. This move out's gonna get spotted as well. This probe figured it all out. Now we're just gonna move back home. So what's gonna be the plan over here? Is he just gonna warp in 2 DTs and send them to the other side? No, it's gonna be 1 DT and send it to the other side. 2 DTs, send it to the other side. You're gonna need a full wall here, buddy. Just building 3 batteries is not quite gonna cut it. That's for sure. This is a lot of units. And there's 2 things that can happen here. Either you just burst through the super battery, or you just walk past the stalkers if you're microing back too far with these stalkers. And here, let's see what he's gonna do. He's just straight up he's gonna burst through the super battery. He just kills it right away. 1, 2, 3 stalkers go down. And now all of these probes are falling as well. DTs at the same time are being stopped by this turret because they arrive so freaking late. GG gets called and ByuN just wins game number 4 without any trouble in 5 minutes and 12 seconds. I actually think that's a really big blunder there out of Nightmare. Like, we have known for years now what the correct way is to beat this particular build when you're opening with a DT opener. You don't have Blink, you don't have enough units. You need to full wall with cybernetic score and gateways, basically. Ideally, cybernetic score because they have more HP and they build quicker as well. So they have higher HP a little bit faster. And then you can cancel them at the last moment after you get a couple more warp-ins out. So, like, we know exactly what needs to be done. And the fact that he didn't do it is, quite frankly, a little bit disappointing there. He had the information as well. He gathered it with the probe. He saw that there was like a freaking 15 marine move out towards the middle of the map at 420. He built his DT, so he played it. Like, there's 2 things you can do. You can say, okay, I'm not going to go for my DT plan here. I'm not actually going to send DTs across the map. I just warp in 2 extra stalkers. And if you get 6 stalkers there, I'm not saying you just straight up hold, but I mean, life becomes significantly easier, right? If you have more stalkers, you can just dive on top of the stalkers and then start right-clicking a battery. And also, if you have to burst down 6 stalkers while there is a super battery active, that's usually not really gonna work. So, yeah, I'm a little bit shocked there at how poorly that was defended by Nightmare, because that shouldn't have been the case. This was an instant scout here, so we also have a Zealot now on the way. Okay. Nightmare with some plans. Probably just gonna cancel that Zealot. He did that in the previous game as well. 21 Nexus. 21 Pylon. Gonna be the name of the game over here. There we go. Pylon does go down on that low ground. Cybernetic score relatively slow. That's because he went for that instant scout. So usually, this is the downside of getting that instant scout. If your own tech is also going to be delayed, or your first attack is going to be delayed by about, well, this one starts about 8 seconds too late compared to a standard timing. Usually you'll start your attack 2 minutes in. This one started at 2:08, which is fairly slow. I have to admit that. Haven't completely pulled out of gas. We haven't pulled out of gas at all here, so I'm still expecting a factory to go down. Isn't that much money. Oh, triple CC? That's the one thing I absolutely hadn't expected. Maybe he just recently rallied back into gas and I missed out on that? Because we always see people pull out of gas whenever things like this happen. At the same time, though, Nightmare with a proxy. So this is going to be a very greedy build versus a gateway attack here. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. We have 3 gateways for now. Is that a second chrono that I'm seeing on that warp gate? I think it is. There's no Reaper here. Gonna try and get a scout. Barely doesn't get it. Barely doesn't get it. Because this barracks is very, very close to the edge. Might just finish it up. No, I won't finish it up. Doesn't want to lose that adept. If we would have finished it up, would have seen that barracks though. That would have been nice. Although at the same time, he's already planning on all-inning, right? He's already planning on all-inning. Now have this bunker on the way. Second adept. Stalker's gonna move out as well soon. Robotics facility behind all of this. And they shouldn't really do any serious damage, no, with the bunker up. Feels like this 3-gate is it's gonna do nothing. Or at least fairly little. Maybe kill a worker or 2. SCVs get pulled to the bunker. You target down 4 or 5 SCVs. I mean, you pretend like that was okay for you. What I like to do as well. These builds, they feel like they should be... Yeah, is he even gonna commit to it? Yeah, I mean, he has 5 adepts. Gonna shade him with 5 adepts. Gonna go past the bunker. That's the plan here. Okay, that got spotted though by ByuN. ByuN sees this, like, well, that's all fun, but... No, come on! Forgets to lift the depot. Huge blunder here by ByuN. Absolutely massive mistake. This is unbelievable. This is actually unbelievable. Oh my god. It's gonna end up losing 6 workers here. I think this is recall material, if you ask me. Could also just clear these marines and then try to shade in once more towards that mineral line. Gonna get 2, 3, 4 marines. 4 marines is what he's getting. It's gonna be number 5. And maybe even 6. Yeah, 6 marines and 6 SCVs being taken out. And on top of that, we got a big scout here out of Nightmare. And he's gonna go for a Colossus drop. This is one of these builds that we don't really see very often. Because it's so rare that you get a scout before you get to decide what to do. Colossus drop is legitimately a terrible build against everything. It beats one thing and one thing only. And that is this build. It is very, very good against marine-focused triple CC build. And this is a marine-focused triple CC build. Now, what would be the proper response here coming out of ByuN? The proper response for ByuN would be that the moment he sees the prism with the Colossus is to leave the game. That would be the appropriate thing to do. To say, hey, you've outwitted me. You're a better player. You're a protoss, which already credits for that in this difficult and trying time. And now you found the perfect build. Congratulations, here is your win. You get to win this version of the Korean StarCraft League number 42, I think it was. This is the final 2. So we have the Gravitic Drive, the Warp Prism Speed coming in, Colossus walking across the map. If ByuN were a gentleman, he would leave the moment he sees this Speed Prism come in. Now, I know ByuN a little bit. He ain't no gentleman. He's not gonna leave. He's not gonna give this Protoss player what he deserves, alright? Like, he won't say, you've outwitted me. No, he says, I'm gonna try defending this, and so far actually pretty decent setup. Deals a lot of damage to this Colossus with the 2 Marauder split. Where's the Marines? The Marines are pre-split, as now we have 2 Marauders moving on towards the high ground. Honestly, impressed by how well ByuN is dealing with this, as he started building a Viking as well at this point. Still a bunch of seconds away from finishing, as Marauders helping out. I mean, this has gone as well as it could have, really. Double drop here being sent out at the same time. This is such a quick double drop. But here we have the real banger, Nightmare, is also moving out with just a double Colossus push. This wasn't just a Colossus drop. No, it's also going to be a serious Colossus push. With a force field on the ramp, he's going to clear every single SCV here on the low ground. Tank is on the way, tank is out, Viking is out. That means that this Colossus could perhaps be in trouble. Tank's definitely gonna be good, as we have some right-clicking here on this command center. At the same time, the drop enters the main base of Nightmare, and we might have a base trade on our hands. Orbital command is going to fly to safety. This tank should target down the Colossus. Tank, hello, there we go. Does go down, not sure if that was the tank though. Viking on the high ground helping out, a couple of Marauders and Marines in the back. just kind of running to safety. Next tank now popped on out. Is going to siege up as it's just pure Stalker Colossus. Do we have enough defenses at home here for ByuN? The answer is no, or for Nightmare. The answer is no. He's gonna lose his first Nexus. There's an orbital command over here, of course. It's triple CC, let's not forget about that. As this Viking almost gets the kill, but a good pickup there. Nightmare in a world of trouble because he needs to do something and he's not doing it right now. And the thing he needs to do is freaking win this game. This Colossus might pop out, but it also could just stay in the robotics facility with 2 seconds remaining on the build time. As this is gonna get microed into a corner. Needs to be picked up. Yeah, gonna lose a Marauder there in the end. ByuN's gonna stabilize. ByuN's gonna be on 3 bases. ByuN's gonna be up and upgrade. ByuN. He is winning. And Nightmare is most definitely losing. Now this medevac is gonna get knocked down. Right into the Red River. We still have 2 Nexi remaining for Nightmare, but he's playing against a triple CC Terran who has 5 barracks infrastructure. There are 2 tanks defensively, which means that breaking this is going to be mission impossible. Like actually mission impossible. You give this script to Tom Cruise and he ain't playing that role. It's like, well, I'll lose in the end. Hey, that's not how... Oh no, ByuN! Blunder. Huge blunder here, because that removes a lot of the padding in front of the tanks. A lot of the kind of the cannon fodder that you need so that the tanks stay alive for much longer. 2 Vikings are gonna pop out, but this tank on the low ground is fairly vulnerable. It's gonna get targeted down. Can we get some good target fire on Vikings as well? This position now once again compromised. Tank needs to move downstairs. No new tank on the way quite yet. I think Nightmare might smell an opportunity here. At the same time, that opportunity doesn't smell that good. ByuN decided to fight a little bit there out of tank range. Probably needs to pull some workers here to help defend. I feel like the tank fire should be on the Stalkers, not on the Adepts. On the Colossus and the Stalkers is what it should have been. So that once your Vikings pop out, you're going to be fine. It's still just going to be probably okay though. Oh my god, this control on the Colossus, what the hell? It's going to keep 1 Colossus alive here. 54 supply to 39 as we get a forced lift on the command center. Lots of depots on the low ground. Could get taken out. There's no tank quite yet here. Triple CC, all of them right now on the main base. 32 workers to 26. Income in favor of Nightmare at the moment. Who continues microing this Colossus, by the way. It's so vital that he doesn't lose it, though. Like, it's real fun to vroom around with a Colossus, but you can't afford to lose it at this point because you have no other form of splash. Marines will just simply own you. Army supply is practically even right now. I think a couple of medevacs would be a wise decision. I'd love to see a couple of medevacs as this Colossus continues to micro. Gonna get a couple of kills here on these SCVs. It's all about this Colossus drop right now. It is a Colossus versus, well, versus the rest of this Terran army. 22 army supply to 22 army supply. 41 workers to 22. But the thing is, there are still triple orbital commands. We still have 3 bases versus just 2. Tank on the low ground accidentally lifts all of his barracks. I don't think that was intended. At the same time, Zealots on the low ground. Gonna try and kill this tank. We have an Adept Shade onto the high as the Colossus continues dealing damage. Walks into a Marine and a Marauder. Now gonna kill that Marauder and just continues taking out SCVs. We'll perhaps try and target the Marine here. Yep, there we go. The Viking pops out. Do we have enough units here for a Nightmare? I think no. It's gonna warp in 7 more Adepts. No anti-air though. That means that the Viking will continue to stop this Prism from doing anything whatsoever. I love this orbital command lift. Just saying, hey, I'm just gonna put it on the low ground, create more of a wall here for myself in case you're once again trying to walk in with Zealots or you're trying to kind of move in with these Adepts. You're gonna need to finish a shade if you want to achieve anything in life here. A couple of Stalkers now being warped in. Colossus moves in towards the natural. Big tank shot and the Viking shows up as well. And that's going to be the signal here for a Nightmare to piss off as we're now entering we're hitting the 12-minute mark. Supply drop for ByuN. I hadn't expected this game to go so long once I saw the 2 Colossus move out. I thought it was just gonna straight up be it. ByuN making this much closer due to his medevac move out that he did early on. The double medevacs really helped him out. And then that one medevac that flew into his opponent's army really helped Nightmare out. Because if that hadn't happened, I think ByuN just holds without any issue. Like having that medevac, having 5-6 extra units would have been huge. There's a bit of a snowball effect there for sure. All Marauders moving in towards the main base. These are just adepts though. Could have been stopped by, well, by anything really. As long as there's a couple of Marauders there. I don't think you need 8 Marauders to deal with 4 adepts usually. 7 Marauders, not 8. Oh well, that is what it is. Here comes a drop into the main base. Gonna snipe a bunch of these workers instantly. 7, 8, 9 workers going down. I think these stalkers might fall as well. Medevac gets sniped. And that's another stalker that will fall. 3 stalkers, 9 workers for 1 medevac drop. He's gonna get 3-4 more workers here. Oh my god, this is beautiful play here. Out of ByuN. 5 more worker kills. He got the most out of that drop for sure. He is still at +1 versus 0-0. He's still slightly up in eco because he's just down 6 workers despite having 3 base already. We have a Dark Shrine on the way as well. His infrastructure is good. ByuN has bad army supply. Has very bad army supply, but his army quality is quite good. Look how many... It's just pure Marauder at this point, which is great. That's exactly what you want to have against Colossus Stalker armies. He's lacking a little bit of in the medevac count, but everything else is looking phenomenal. As these adept shades probably will finish up. Might want to land the Vikings. No, wants to chase this prism away. Same time we have a push towards the 3rd base. Some nice usage from Nightmare on these adepts, by the way. He's been using adepts this entire series already to kind of force units in different bases. It's been fun to watch. The prism managed to survive, of course, with the speed. Nightmare now pulling back. Starch +1 as well as Blink. Dark Shrine about to finish up. We have double turrets on the way. The spider senses here are tingling. No, he didn't spot that. That dark... Where the heck is that Dark Shrine? Oh, it's here. Yeah, no, he didn't spot it. Did not spot that Dark Shrine. He's gonna finish up now, but the spider senses of ByuN definitely functioning rather well. Now we're gonna get double DT warp-ins. Gonna try to move him perhaps into the main base. At least one into the main base. He's gonna go for both in the main base. Love to see it. Could potentially get a couple of kills at the same time. Vikings are in position already. That means that this prism will fall. There's no escape path available for these DTs. Plenty of scans here as well. And I think this is absolutely fine here right now for ByuN. Is he going to get that DT before it moves out of range? Yes, he will. Second DT gets 2, maybe 3 kills. 2 kills. And then gets cleaned up as well. 4th base, a little over 25% done at this point. As ByuN still up in the mineral income. ByuN down in the gas income. He doesn't have his 5th and 6th gas yet. Well, we do see that on the other side of the map. I think Nightmare, honestly... Yeah, I think Nightmare's in a good position. Definitely. I mean, up 20 supply. His upgrades are, you know... They're getting there. They're getting there. It's not like ByuN is going to be up 5 upgrades. ByuN is up 1 upgrade. And it's the armor upgrade, which is the least important one for Terran. Terran cares most about the damage, not so much about the armor. The armor is nice to get, of course, but... mainly damage. Damage is the name of the game. For Terran majority of the time. Temple Archive is about to finish up for Nightmare. Might be setting up to do a similar push in the 2 games that he managed to win. In those kind of chartled Colossus. This time with then a couple of Archons as well. Has a lot of gas in the tank, so could morph in 5 Archons as long as he has enough production for that. Probably not at once, but in 2 cycles. It would be pretty big. 5 Archons pre-Ghost. Yeah, that's a big deal. 4th base is on the way here for ByuN, who is now getting his 1st Ghost. I did believe I saw an armory finish up as well. Am I crazy? See, I am crazy indeed. Alright, I for sure thought I saw an armory, but I guess not. Vikings still patrolling the skies. There's Nightmare here. It's gonna get Storm. Out of all the upgrades you could have gotten, out of all the units you could have built, you went Storm. That feels like a mistake. That feels like a mistake, but let's not judge too quickly. Let's see how he's gonna utilize it. I do have 10 Ghost on me. It's gonna be hard to push into this, I think. Ghosts really pack a serious punch here. Adept's being taken out by this little force. This Adept's not even gonna finish its shade. Actually managed to cancel that. It's gonna just stay here. Colossus trying to move forward. Vikings should be pulled in as well. At the same time, main base now vulnerable to this prism. And that's going to be the play. Vikings moved out of the way. Now going to move back in. Will find his prism instantly, and that prism is not going to be capable of getting any type of warp in. 164 supply to 154, 5 bases in favor of Nightmare versus the 4 of his opponent. Continuous upgrades, gets a Stargate and Immortal production, by the way, which is kind of wild. Stargate. So probably preparing for some type of Tempest switch. This almost feels like how Creator sometimes plays. Like just very quick going into these air storm armies. It's interesting to watch. I'm just not sure how good it is. I also really wonder what ByuN's plan is, by the way. So far the plan just seems to be to sit back and do nothing. 2 more Stargates on the way. We have the +1 air weapons as well coming in right now. For our good friend Nightmare. +2 weapon starts. Ooh, gravitic boost, fleet beacon. Yeah, so there's gonna be a transition into either Tempest or Carriers. Now, ByuN believes that it's just his turn to move out. Ends up losing a couple of workers to the Storm Drop, but 8 workers for a Prism. +2 Templar, I think is not really worth it. ByuN doesn't have that many workers. Might actually feel forced to push out now because of that. I don't think he's forced at all. I think the thing that he probably should be doing is just building more workers. I don't think he needs to push out at the moment whatsoever. Might actually be a good push though. So maybe he doesn't have to, but maybe he just wants to. Viking count perhaps a bit low. We only have 3 Vikings over here. Moves into a weird choked up position. Not quite the concave you want as a Terran player. Loses all of his ghosts before he even gets to hit any of the EMPs. GG's out as Nightmare wins the game and takes the series. Beautiful Colossus drop play. Beautiful, the kind of comeback here into the game as well out of Nightmare. You'd love to see it. It's overall a high-level series. Solid games. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye-bye.